The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Wonders they say shall never cease to happen in Africa. For decades, the world used to lecture Africans that the African can never do anything without state. That before we can do anything for ourselves, we need to run to them for loans before we can do something concrete for ourselves. But the African tried to prove these people wrong, that we don't need loans in order to survive. IMF, of all people, is in Burkina Faso. Some few years back, if anybody should have told us that IMF will be chasing Burkina Faso, we would have all said it is a lie. But to our surprise, IMF is in Burkina Faso, praising Burkina Faso for the achievement that they have made. And these praises are not just praises. This is a signal to the world that these people are no longer the kind of people that we thought they are. They are not doing it without our rules and regulations. They have now decided to move outside of our control. This was a warning to the other people, because IMF wouldn't visit any nation just for pleasure, just to praise anybody. When you listen to the speech, you understand that these praises are not just normal praises. These are not emotional words that people use to express their feelings, their happiness, their joy. This is clearly showing them that the African is now moving outside of the blueprint that they have created for us. Burkina Faso are all in all made it clear to the world that we can do it without these people, because for decades Africans were backwards simply because we have decided to allow these people to dictate the blueprint of Africa, and outside of that they are making it big. Everything that they get from Africa is through these loans that they are forcing our leaders to come for, because they created a narrative to the leaders that without loans the African can never develop.
The Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund on an African tour for inspection and strengthening cooperation in Ouagadougou. He took advantage of this stay to visit the Thomas Sankara Memorial. Kenji Okamura was able to hear the whole story of the father of the Burkinabe Revolution, Thomas Isidore Noel Sankara, during the visit with Omar Zondre.
Kenji Okamura bows to the memory of Captain Thomas Sankara, father of the Burkinabe Revolution of August 1983. The Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund came to immerse himself in the history and ideals carried by the Burkinabe Revolution, accompanied by the Minister of Economy, Aoubakan Akanabo. Kenji Okamura and his delegation observe and listen attentively to the story of the revolution and the tragic events of October 1987, told by Luc Damiba, advisor to the Prime Minister and member of the Memorial Committee.
Thomas Sankara.
For the Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, this visit is an opportunity to discover, understand, and learn from the Burkinabe people.
Light and obvious chair.
The President Thomas Sankara has marked in history. His legacy is evident, notably through the name of the country, Burkina Faso, the land of upright people. I am deeply convinced that the true wealth of Burkina Faso lies in its people and its great leaders,
C'est un grand peuple et c'est un grand leader.
Kenji Okamura says he appreciates this visit to the Thomas Sankara Memorial, a place full of emotions, symbols, and lessons.
But Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso came to the game and led these people to understand that we can do it without the loans, because the loans are traps that are keeping us poor. And if truly we want to move forward, we want to develop, then we need to stop taking money from you, putting ourselves in debt. That is the only way we can be free. Because look at the recent loans that we have heard that the president of Cameroon, approved trillions of CFA franc to come and pay debt, which means the debt is still there. And this is how they get African leaders to continue to be in debt, that we can never be on our own in order to solve our own problems. But the time has come that the African is proving to these people that this has to end. We have had enough. IMF coming into Africa to praise the same nations they told us that can never survive within 6 months because they couldn't make it. This is a poor nation, they have nothing. Without us, they can never survive. These are the people who are now back into the continent, in the places that they thought they couldn't do without them, to be praising the works that they are doing. This is the time we also need to tighten everything, because these people will stop at nothing. Now they are making it clear to the world that these three nations, they are doing everything possible to open the eyes of the race, because they tried everything in their power to stop what we are seeing in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, but nothing worked in their favor. And they will not back down, because we've seen that when they tried to use force and force wasn't working, they then came in a form of diplomacy, but they can never smile deep down in their heart towards the African progress, because the day we will reclaim our sovereignty from these people, that is the end of them. And for that matter, they will do everything possible in their power to continue to keep the African poor. Those in the democratically elected bought into the narrative, making it to look as if without them we can never survive, which is not true. So if we did not believe in ourselves that we can do it without them, then this is the time for us all to learn from Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. We don't need these people before we can survive. They need us. And we need to continue to prove to these people that without us, they are nothing. It's not about speech, how best we can do it, but how best we are proving to these people, like Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso leaders are doing, not just talking, but putting things in action. This is the time for us all to understand that we are powerful, we are stronger. We are the reason to which these people are existing. We need to reconscientize the mentality and believe in ourselves that we can do it. We have the power to cause any change. Until we have that self-awareness, self-realization, we'll continue to dance to the tune of these people, which we know they are not the ones that are keeping the African going. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, West Africa, in Burkina Faso.